All right, comments for the good of the order. Get a clean sheet of paper. Mr. Cavanero. Dan.
I would just like to inform the board members that we have officially received notification from Local 1579 that they wish to negotiate over wages, hours, and other conditions of employment for the newly created position of custodian district maintenance crew, posted on September 9, 2013. So the subcommittee for 1579 contract negotiations will have to convene.
Mr. Nardi.
Okay, first one is policy 1001, professional staff hiring procedure. Superintendent or his designation will be responsible for posting, hiring, blah, 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 blah. And then it goes to G, notifying nominees and obtaining a non-binding acceptances. H, recommending nominees to the board for employment. I've asked at the last meeting to get a legal opinion on whether or not the superintendent can unilaterally hire without the board's approval prior to the superintendent hiring. I believe our policy is violated. I believe the state law is violated. That's just my belief. I don't understand why on an issue that clearly seems to be of concern to at least one or more board members, just what our relationship is with the superintendent and hire. We can't get the board's attorney to put in writing what's going on.
Give me the exact wording you want the legal opinion
I
on.
want, what's that?
Give me the exact wording of what you want the legal opinion
I
on.
want the legal opinion on whether or not our policy and the state law is being violated when the superintendent hires someone, signs a contract with an employee before the board approves that hire.
You want a legal opinion on whether our policy and state law is being violated when the superintendent signs a contract with an employee before the BOE approves the hiring of that employee.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, may I make a request on top of that and ask for a cost for that legal opinion? How much it's costing the taxpayers to get it written?
Sure.
Thank you.
We don't ask for costs before we ask for legal opinions on how many legal opinions that the chairman has asked for over the last year. So what differentiates that? Second issue, attorney policy, policy 2008. Attorney shall, without reading the entire policy, goes the attorney shall represent the Board of Education in legal proceedings, give his or her written opinion on all legal questions referred to him or her by the Board of Education or the superintendent. I asked the board's attorney at the last time we had him present. I stated to him that I believe that he should, whenever the superintendent or the chairman of the Board of Education asked for an opinion, had a discussion with him, that being that he represents all of the board members equally, that whatever opinion he would express to the superintendent or to the chairman of the board, that he would issue a written memo of the conversation to the board members. I believe our policy states basically the same thing. Ask him if that's correct or not. I'm sorry. Okay, periodic financial reports, policy 3030. I asked why there was no presentation of the financial reports for July, and our policy 3033 says reports of expenditure shall be prepared monthly by the business manager as approved by the superintendent. Guidelines, copies of each monthly report shall be presented to the Board of Education and sent to the members of the Board of Finance and the city controller. By present, I believe that means that it's not just emailed or sent to the board members, that the Board of Education has to meet as a full board to have the monthly presentation of the budget.
So you're asking,
Unanimously approve,
What's that?
didn't we just unanimously approve the financial?
No, it says monthly, so every month.
Every month,
Every-
every board meeting.
Every.
And I
month.
said, did you have a meeting in July? Did you have a meeting in July?
what financials are you looking for?
The monthly financials that we get every month.
What month are you looking
I'm
for?
talking July.
July's were done in August at the board meeting.
No, the policy 3030 says it has to be done each month.
Right, the July financials were brought to the August
Then
board
it would
meeting
have
and
been the
approved.
June financials that would have been brought for the July meeting.
That was brought on this too.
That was
But
also
you
brought on.
skipped the July meeting, and that
There
violates.
was no July meeting.
There was not.
First of all, it was canceled, and secondly, you can't, you needed to present it based on the policy. If the policy's wrong, then the
So,
policy's wrong.
The financials went to the August Budget Committee meeting for June and July. And they were approved at the Board of Education meeting in August for June and July. And your concern is that because we didn't have a July meeting, they weren't done in the month that they were obligated to be done.
Right, I believe that's what the policy.
Okay.
I'm not saying I'm just reading these things, and based on the face of the document,
Okay,
to
so
me
a
it
July
seems.
meeting would have to happen every year?
Yes,
Okay. My first 2 years, it did. We had a board retreat in July.
and I understand that. That doesn't mean that our policy
Okay.
is.
I just followed past practice when I did it this year.
Yeah,
Will.
and I'm not saying
Okay.
evil here, I'm just saying, I'm going.
I
through
didn't
these
say you were
policies.
saying that.
Okay. And
Implied
then-
maybe, said no.
Pardon?
I said implied maybe, said
Okay,
no.
maybe it's implied, but it's not. Okay,
Anymore?
policy 4061, professional staff recruiting. It is the responsibility of the superintendent with the assistance of other district administrators to determine the personal needs of the district and the individual schools and to locate suitable candidates to recommend for employment. Again, the word recommend for employment, not to do the hiring per se, but to recommend to the board. That's the policy 4061. Me. Yeah, policy 4070. It is recognized that the Torrington Board of Education has the sole and exclusive prerogative to eliminate certified staff positions, not the superintendent. Therefore, it is essential. So again, we just keep seeing these policies that all put together, in my mind anyway, express that we as a board want to do the official hiring of staff. And it's my impression that it coincides with the state statute, which is general law, which states boards of education do all of the hiring, with the exception that if the board specifically designates to the superintendent that authority. I don't see how we can designate authority when all our policies clearly state just the opposite. Otherwise, I have.
Are you looking for an item for upcoming agenda to discuss the
No, what I'm-
hiring process?
What I'm looking for is, what I'm looking for is for our board's attorney to give a legal opinion.
So you want a legal opinion on 1001, 2008, 3030, 4061, and 47?
And tie it to whether or not the board in the hiring
Would you
of.
put that in writing and send that to me so I don't do it wrong?
No, you're doing very good.
No, you can put it in writing and send it to me so the wording is what you would like.
Well, everything you have
You can
was
put
great.
it, can you put it in writing, please?
No, I can't.
Well, I'll do the best I can, but if it's wrong,
Okay,
Why
well,
can't you
I
put it in
have
writing?
full trust and faith in you, sir.
put it, I'm gonna request from you to put it in writing so I can get it to the legal department the way you're asking for.
Okay.
All right? Just send an email.
I don't email.
And
I'll have
take a
to-
box of crayons
I'll
and write
have
it and
to-
give it to me. I
I'll
don't care how
have
you do
to
it.
send it certified.
You can drop it off the board of ed, I'll pick it up. All right. Yeah.
A couple of things. The administrators negotiation committee has started.
Well, that would be.
It wasn't on there, so I'm not sure. So we've met the deadline to start our negotiations for salary. We're also entering into impact bargaining with the same union, and we'll keep everyone updated as we proceed. The other item I want to address is the healthy food certification and the wellness policy and all the confusion that's out there with the PTOs, the schools, what exactly is supposed to be happening. It was my understanding that we were gonna get some kind of guidelines that we would follow. That hasn't happened. I'm not sure who was supposed to be responsible for that, but everybody seems to have a different idea of how this is being implemented. And I think everybody needs to get on the same page before we proceed too much farther into the year.
So that's healthy food and wellness.
Well, I'm not sure if they're together, separate. I'm not exactly sure. I guess that's what they would be separate.
And
They're
entirely
separate.
separate entities.
We don't have, the wellness policy was about it.
We knew that it would be healthy food certification.
I'm the designated person for the district, and I'm informing all of the appropriate parties on how they're supposed to follow these guidelines. I'm meeting with the staff members at staff meetings at each building. I've done the middle and high, and the October staff meeting, I'm going to all the elementary schools. That, the first actually 3 days of October.
There's some confusion regarding like during the day. If you're not selling items to students, can you provide other students with items that are not?
Yeah, no. I mean, I can do whatever you want as I could do a workshop for the board, so the board understands and that's what I'm doing for the individual schools, so staff members understand that.
So is healthy food certification a policy?
No. And that is one of the confusing topics I've noticed. Mainly, it's really not that complicated.
But I think, I'm not gonna get into an argument, I just think we need to.
No, I was just trying to.
The issue is, I think, even like what we saw differs from what the schools think, from what the PTOs think, from what the booster club thinks.
Well,
So
right,
it
and
just
that's why
seems
I'm
like-
trying to get to all these these groups. And that's what I'm doing now.
I mean, can we get some specific guidelines, just put on paper so everybody is on the same page?
Mhm.
I think that would be helpful. Does the board have any say in those guidelines? Can the board make exemptions? Can we not make exemptions?
And the board did make exemptions. The board made exemptions for everything we can possibly make exemptions for. We have every loophole we can get with, to make it easier for the district.
Okay.
I mean, I can put something together and send it to the Board of Ed. I mean, that's why I'm going to all the schools individually and talking to staff members.
I mean, I think it would be helpful only because I'm trying to determine if there's one person assigned to each building, but the people in the buildings at this point don't really know. Then the groups don't have anyone to go to because no one's really sure. So it just seems.
Right, but I'm that person. And
Right, but-
that's what I'm trying to get across, but,
So I
Yeah.
just think the sooner, because people are trying to do things and no one's sure what they can or can't do, then I
Mhm.
think the sooner we can get something formalized that
Mhm.
we all are understanding what this means.
Helen? Chris?
Just wanted to commend administration for getting in front of things. When it comes to Common Core standards and rolling out the new teacher evals, from what we heard tonight, it sounds like our school district is very well prepared. And I know that we had some issues with the process of that, but I think from a big picture perspective, we're doing really well. So
so.
And we're
Kudos.
developing timelines. I have to say the team that's been assembled are really some extraordinary people, both from within and the few that we've hired from without. We are working, I'm sorry, I know it's late, but we are really working diligently to develop a timeline so that we will have curriculum with units that teachers can have in their hands and implement, and then begin to work on the assessments. Hold on, one second.
Vincent? No. John?
I had the pleasure of sitting in on that meeting between the Latin students and the superintendent, and I would like to say the superintendent has not stopped training teachers. She is absolutely perfect, accommodating for those kids, et cetera, et cetera. Thank you.
Committee reports, personnel.
We are continuing along the path. We have a new chart, hopefully in about 2 months, that'll be coming out, that'll expand on the small charts we saw today. And we are continuing our review of staff attendance reports.
Thank you. Policy.
Well, we'll go to the bylaws, homework, attendance, grading, and bullying. Plug it in.
Grievance.
Students has been busy, we are continuing to be busy.
School improvement.
School Improvement Committee met last Wednesday night. There were 2 items on the agenda. I pared it down to a discussion with possible recommendation for action to include in the student athletic handbook a clause that would automatically, that would cause students, any students who were arrested on felony counts to lose their rights to participate in sports. And this same clause was to be inserted into the student handbook to apply to all extracurricular activities. I've discussed this in many times, many ways since the spring. I was hoping to get progress on that during the meeting. At the meeting, the superintendent was not in attendance, was not able to attend, and I was informed that we couldn't talk about it at the meeting because it was current student handbook was being embargoed, and there could be no discussion about what I wanted to discuss. The second item that I wanted to discuss was a whistleblower policy that would protect teachers and staff members should they wish to come forward to offer differing set of opinions regarding practices and procedures within the Torrington school system. There was a good deal of discussion about that, and the recommendation by the administrators who were present was that we should talk to the unions about their process as a first step for doing it. That will be on the next school improvement committee meeting. Having gone this far down the road, I am wondering if it would be best if one of the other members of the committee took over the chairmanship of that committee for the time being, until the board has had a chance to hear whatever this complaint is and weigh in on it and take whatever action they deem appropriate. My strong sense is that what was discussed at that meeting was directly tied to the complaint, and therefore perhaps discussing whistleblowers, a whistleblower policy to protect staff, or an automatic expulsion, expulsion from athletic teams for students who are arrested for felony crimes. Clearly, the way I discuss it was not taken well, and therefore it may be better if another one of my committee members ran the next meeting. That's ultimately your call, Mr. Chair, as far as I can tell.
We'll talk about it.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Budget.
A lot of work went into just setting timetables at this point in that discussion. The only real item of note is we finally got around to looking into Camp Mo, because we have this comes up all year long. So just to let everyone know, out of our $67 billion budget last year. We spent a whopping $40,000, which serviced 52 kids over an 8-week period. So, and all of those are mandated by IEPs, or 504s,
No,
just IEPs. So we don't have much control over that, and we're getting a pretty good bang for our buck. So there seems to be a myth out there we're trying to solve. It's not that big of a problem financially, but we're looking more into it, and that's about it.
I laughed, my son was about that. We do get a lot of bang for the buck, those kids, some of those kids are working for $5 an hour. Overnights, no overtime, yeah,
Experience though.
they're getting a tremendous experience.
I move that we extend the meeting for another 2 minutes while we wrap up this. We've exceeded the time limit.
11:20,
That'll work.
second. All those in favor? Opposed? I had 3 opposed at this point. It was Kisco, Marola, and Fiona were opposed. The motion was by Brady, the second was by Chris. Okay, Ed Connection?
That connection met the end of August, Board of Directors, rather than the beginning of September to accommodate the Jewish High Holy Days. Not much going on there, attendance was good. Policy Council for Ed Connection at Forest Court. We had a lot more parents than community members there, which was very good. Very enthusiastic group of people. Federal review of that program this coming year. I have been asked to serve on the committee that will deal with that when it happens. It'll be a surprise. We may get 30 days notice. More likely, they'll just be there on a Monday morning. And other than that, not much going on. THS oversight. I have been in a lot of communication with people. People are coming forward to talk to me. I'm still in the process of observing and trying to make sense of the changes. And so far, so good is all I get out of that. But there has been no real committee action in the sense that we anticipated it would happen, just because so many things are happening without good thing.
Wellness?
Wait, I have to just piggyback on. I
Wellness.
do.
No, you don't. Wellness.
The Wellness Committee doesn't exist anymore, so to address your concern, the guidelines that were asked by the board to draft are recommending as the administration.
Juvenile court update. Items for the upcoming agenda: financial statements committee report, tag restructuring, lawsuits update, Connecticut State Statute 10151, propane contract, adult education discussion, future meetings, policy October 9th, personnel October 9th, budget October 16th, school improvement October 16th, regular board meeting October 23rd. Motion to adjourn. Dan, Vincent, approved. All those in favor?
Now I want to hear what Cheryl
Go ahead.
They're looking to make